Right now, somewhere in the dark, your alarm is charging toward tomorrow morning. And in that one moment before it rings, your brain will quietly choose one of two people: the one who gets up or the one who negotiates. Six habits decide which one wins. Not someday, tomorrow. Let's go. Habit 1: your bedtime. Picture your willpower as a flame, not a switch you flip on. A flame you either feed or starve. Every late night you scroll through isn't rest denied, it's fuel stolen from tomorrow's fire. So when the fire's low, everything feels harder. Saying no feels harder. Showing up feels harder. Not because you're weak, because the flame that protects you all day was never lit properly the night before. James Clear didn't discover this from a book. A small injury nearly ended his path entirely. And in the wreckage, he didn't rebuild his whole life at once. He rebuilt one flame, one habit, then let it burn into the next. Here's a sentence worth remembering. Discipline isn't something you have. It's something you fuel. Tonight, fuel it early. Habit 2: move your body. If sleep lights the flame, movement is the oxygen that keeps it alive. 10 minutes of motion tells your entire nervous system, this fire is worth protecting today. There was a woman who used to sit in her car in the driveway before work, just crying. 10 minutes every single morning before she ever walked inside. One day she didn't fix her whole life. She just got out of the car 2 minutes early and walked around the block once. That's it. 2 minutes. A year later, she wasn't a person who runs marathons. She was a person who no longer sits in the driveway. The habit didn't change her body first. It changed who she believed she was. Here's your mic drop line. You don't need motivation to move. You need movement to create motivation. Now close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself 6 months from now. Sharper, calmer, harder to rattle. That version of you isn't lucky. He's just been protecting a fire you're about to learn how to feed. Habit 3: stay focused. A fire this size needs banks around it, or it spreads thin and burns out fast. What's actually stealing your focus? It's not your phone, it's the lie that you'll focus later. Every time you check that screen, your mind pays a toll. Almost 20 minutes to fully return. So here's the actual move. Right now, put your phone in another room. Screen down in a drawer out of reach before you open your first tab tomorrow. That's not willpower, that's just removing the choice completely. Here's where almost everyone watching this video will accidentally fail. Not on the hard habits. On this one, because it feels small enough to skip, and skipping it quietly burns the other 5 to the ground. Face new tasks. Your brain reads uncertainty as danger, even when nothing is actually threatening you. So it sends a warning, and most people obey it, call it caution. It's really just fear wearing a disguise. I read about a man who lost his job at 52. After 22 years in the same chair, he sat down at a computer he barely understood, hands shaking slightly on the keyboard, not because he felt ready. He wasn't. A year later, he was teaching people half his age. Not because the fear left, he just stopped waiting for permission from it. Here's the line to remember. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after it every single time. Habit 5 isn't about thinking positive. It's about thinking precisely. I knew someone who lost her mother suddenly, 2 weeks before her final exams. Everyone told her to stay positive. She hated that word for a year. What actually got her through wasn't forcing a smile. It was one different question. Instead of asking why this happened to her, she started asking what her mother would want her to do with the semester she had left. Same grief, completely different fire to walk through it with. Mic drop line. Your mind isn't broken when it hurts. It's just asking the wrong question. 5 habits: sleep, motion, focus, facing fear, reframing pain, powerful alone, useless without the 6th. And the 6th isn't a habit. Habit 6: morning routine. Think of it as the riverbed, not the water itself. Water doesn't decide its path every day. The riverbed already decided for it. Willpower is weather. Some days sunny, some days storming, but routine is the ground beneath it. It doesn't ask how you feel. It just directs the current anyway. This is the real secret behind people who never seem to fall off. They're not stronger. They just built banks deep enough that falling off was never an option. So here's your challenge. Not someday, tomorrow. Feed the flame tonight. Give it oxygen before your phone touches your hand. Build banks around your focus. Walk toward the fear instead of the excuse. Ask the better question when it hurts. Then dig the riverbed deep enough that none of it depends on how you feel. Remember the man who sat down at that computer with shaking hands? He didn't wait for the fire to feel warm. He sat in the cold and lit it anyway. That's the only difference between him and everyone who stayed in their old chair. Tomorrow morning, that same moment returns right before the alarm. Two people standing at the same door, only one of them walks through it. Tomorrow morning won't test your motivation. It will reveal your identity.